Lesson 6. Essential question. What is the atomic theory? Engage your brain. As you read the lesson, look for the answer to the following question and record it here. This building in Brussels, Belgium is called the Atomium. Why do you think it was given that name? Active reading. Lesson vocabulary. List the terms. As you learn about each one, make notes in the interactive glossary. Visual aids. A diagram adds information to the text that appears on the page with it. Active readers pause their reading to review the diagram and decide how the information in it adds to what is provided in the text on the pages. A teeny tiny theory. From the time of Democritus, scientists have studied matter and proposed theories about it. What do we now think about what makes up matter? Active reading. As you read the next page, draw a line from each part of the atom diagram to the sentences that describe it. Suppose you could break a silver chain into smaller and smaller pieces. The pieces would become so small that you couldn't see them without a microscope. How small could the pieces get before they were no longer silver? The answer? 1 silver atom. An atom is the smallest unit of an element that maintains the properties of that element. The atomic theory is a scientific explanation of the structure of atoms and how they interact with other atoms. Democritus first suggested that the smallest part of matter is an atom. Over the years, theories that scientists made about atoms have changed as scientists learn more about atoms. More than 2,000 years ago, I stated that all matter is made of tiny solid balls called atoms. The word atom means indivisible. Atoms, elements, compounds. Gold is one type of matter. Gold brick, flakes of gold. Atoms are the building blocks of all matter. Current atomic theory states that an atom is mostly empty space. At its center, there is a small, dense core called the nucleus. The nucleus is surrounded by electrons. Proton. A proton is a positively charged particle found in the nucleus of an atom. Neutron. Neutrons are also particles found in the nucleus, but a neutron has no charge. Electron. Electrons are negatively charged particles that speed through an area around the nucleus called the electron cloud. Use the Venn diagram to compare and contrast electrons and protons. Proton, electron, both. Draw an arrow pointing to a single gold atom. Gold atoms. It's elementary. Copper, oxygen, and mercury have one thing in common. They are all elements. Exactly what is an element? Active reading. As you read these 2 pages, draw a large E next to the names of 5 elements that are described. There are many kinds of matter. An element is the type of matter made of just one kind of atom. All atoms of an element have the same number of protons. For example, boron is an element. Every atom of boron contains exactly 5 protons. No other element has atoms with exactly 5 protons. What's so special about protons? Electrons are far from the nucleus, so they can be gained or lost. Also, different atoms of the same element can contain different numbers of neutrons. Protons stay the same. In the mid-1800s, I organized all known elements by their properties and increasing mass. Scientists still organize elements based on my work. Atoms, elements, compounds. Neon, protons, 10. Uses, neon signs, helium-neon lasers, television tubes, refrigerant. Mercury, protons, 80. Uses, laboratory instruments, thermostats, dental fillings, pesticides. Elements are substances that can't be broken into simpler substances. Chlorine, protons 17. Uses, jewelry, silverware, photography, welding solder, mirrors. Copper, protons 29. Uses, plumbing, coins, electrical wires, making brass and bronze. Draw and label a carbon atom. Use the information provided to draw and label a carbon atom. Protons 6, neutrons 6, electrons 6. Putting it all together. There are more than 100 elements, but you can see that there are many more types of matter than that. What are these other types? Active reading. As you read this page, draw boxes around the names of the two things that are being compared. Many atoms go through chemical change with a different type of atom and form molecules. A molecule is made up of two or more atoms joined together chemically. A compound is a substance formed by atoms from two or more elements. The properties of a compound are often different from the properties of the elements that form it. For example, atoms of carbon and oxygen will react, forming the compound carbon dioxide. This compound has its own properties that are different than those of carbon and oxygen. Part of my atomic theory stated that different types of atoms combine to form chemical compounds. Atoms, elements, compounds. Hydrogen atoms plus oxygen atom equals water. Sodium atoms plus chlorine atoms equals salt. Compounds are made of atoms of at least two different elements. Firework colors. Orange, calcium chloride, 1 calcium, 2 chlorine. Yellow, sodium nitrate, 1 sodium, 1 nitrogen, 3 oxygen. Red, lithium carbonate, 2 lithium, 1 carbon, 3 oxygen. Some of the colors in fireworks come from compounds. For example, calcium chloride, which contains 1 calcium atom for every 2 chlorine atoms, results in an orange color. Fructose is often called fruit sugar. For every 6 atoms of carbon in the compound, there are 12 hydrogen atoms and 6 oxygen atoms. Do the math. Use fractions. Add the total number of atoms in fructose. In lowest terms, what fraction of fructose consists of 1. Carbon atoms, 2. Hydrogen atoms, 3. Oxygen atoms.